Afternoon K2 Krew. Another quick intro video from my red hot garage here where I am practically melting to intro some works today on the Audi Coupe. So this is around the fuel filter replacement setup really, and the hopefully first start of the Audi Coupe. Yeah, fingers crossed everything goes okay and we don't hit any major hurdles, and yeah, let's get to it. So this is the fuel filter in question. Pain in the ass that has been, well, not necessarily the fuel filter, these bloody banjo connectors, as you can see from the kind of build up the seepage there. Obviously it's depressurized ever since the time it's been here, but I could not get this thing to stop leaking, even though I use new copper washers and I've tried to heat treat the copper washers to sort of to assist. They just will not stop leaking. There's one either side, as you can see there. So yeah, this was a champion aftermarket filter. It fits perfectly, but yeah, these original banjo connectors that are a bit pitted and rusted now, as you can see. Yeah, just getting them to stop leaking was almost impossible. I spent hours on it. So what I'm going to do is actually change out this kind of entire sort of setup here that we've got going in for an inline filter. So yeah, let's see how that goes. So this is what we got to what I'm hoping might work to replace the kit. So we've got a Bosch inline filter. So as you can see, this doesn't have any of those banjo connections that I have to worry about with the existing one. And yeah, we've got some SAA J30 R9 fuel rated hose pipe. That's what I'm hoping, and I've also got these brass fittings as well, the same diameter, internal diameter as that hose. So what I'm hoping is between these bits I can sort of fashion a different type of kind of inline fuel filter setup, kind of manipulating the existing hosing a little bit, obviously with adapting it with some of this, to create a fuel filter setup that's kind of fuel rated. So this is from, what I thought I would do is, this is from an Audi TT Mark 1, the 1.8 litre 225 BAM engine. So this should have more than enough fuel pressure in this for this car. So yeah, so like I say, this is the kit that I'm hoping to use to be able to bypass and sort of rig in a new arrangement, new setup. So let's give it a try. Okay, so the plan, as you can see, currently we've got the inlet here and the outlet, which are currently both banjo connectors. So the idea is here, what we're looking to do is mount a inline fuel filter here. Obviously we can't use the existing banjo connectors. What we're going to look to do is kind of cut the lines sort of back here. I've got these brass connectors that will end up being, so I can have a little bit of R9 cable here, so that hose, and then bring the hose off from here and connect it up to this point with these fuel pressure rated hose clips that you can see here that I've used to replace previously dead bits of pipe, bits that have been rusted through of the original fuel line, and yeah, it's very good. I mean, once that, to be honest with you, even when I fitted this and I started getting leaks from here, of all the bits of pipes I had already replaced with the R9 hose, I hadn't got any leaks from any of that. It was literally just from the original fittings. So yes, the idea is with these 90-degree angles, I'll be able to sort of cut the line here and adapt it with a bit of hose to come to this point, and similarly here cut the existing line back there, and then with another 90-degree elbow over here, and sort of rig that from there to effectively create this as an inline filter. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, let's test fit the diameter of this new fuel filter. Okay, so it fits in there. Is it going to be too big or too small? I reckon too small. Okay, yeah. Just clearly, as you can see, it's floating around inside there, so the bracket's not actually holding it in place. So we have to makeshift something around this fuel filter to make it a little bit more snug. I mean, it will be kept in place by obviously the hoses as well, but yeah, we'll have to see what we can do there too. Okay, I've just put a little bit of foam tape around the edge, as you can see here, just to give it some thickness. Let's see how it fits now. That's flow direction, so it needs to sit there. Right. Okay, it's much better. That's actually got some clamping force on it now, and that will not move. So yeah, I think we can bolt that one up now. Let's give that a go. Okay, so next bit is to do the exact same as what we've done on this side as well. So I'm gonna cut a piece to of the R9 pipe to bridge those two, and then this is the, as you can see, this is the one that goes all the way to the engine. So this is a bit of flexi hose there, which is no use to me, so I'm going to need to cut this with a junior hacksaw and around about there. Then I can bridge the pipe to come onto the end of this one. So the nice thing is then when you need to actually replace the fuel filter, you can just undo this one and what will be this one when it's attached, and then just pop these ends off and yeah, take the bracket off, replace the fuel filter and put them back on like you would any inline filter. So much easier setup, and hopefully it doesn't leak, but we'll know as soon as we prime the engine and yeah, prime the fuel pump to see if we get any leaks. Okay, so I've got this piece of the hose connected with the 90-degree angle. So now what I'm going to use is a junior hacksaw just to cut off the steel fuel line here. Yeah, don't use well, I would highly recommend against using a Dremel or anything that's going to generate any real heat, so I can just take it nice and slow, no sparks or anything, so nothing that would ignite the fuel. I've already done similar down there. You may be able to see when I had to cut out, or here actually, bad bits of line to replace, so I had to cut back to good line. So I'm just going to do the exact same here. So yeah, here we go. Okay, finally managed to hacksaw off the piece of line, as you can see, from there to there. which had the banjo clip in place. All I've been using now is this tiny magnet that I managed to get with a key repair kit, because it actually fits into the fuel line perfectly, and it means I can just pick up any shavings, any metal shavings that may have gone into the fuel line to stop them hopefully from actually going into the injectors and clogging obviously up the injectors. So yeah, so I just pop it in the end there and get out what I can. Not that you can see anything there, but yeah, if there's any little bits of shards of metal or whatever that's actually got caught inside the fuel line, it just helps pick those up. So yeah, there we go. So now I just need to cut a final piece of pipe from there to there, and yeah, and we should be golden. Okay, and there we have it. One inline fuel filter. So as you can see, the fuel pump line connected to the inlet of the fuel filter with this 90-degree angle just to get a better bend, and again connected from the fuel line that goes to the engine there at a 90-degree angle from the outlet. So that is all fitted. Yeah, so that's all done. It's just a case of whether it actually leaks at any one of these many joints I've now introduced into this arrangement. But well, if any of these were to go by when I previously tested them, so you can see there's one here, and there's another one there, and there. None of these leaked when I previously tried any of those, when I tried the banjo-style fuel filter, so hopefully these are just as tight connection and won't leak. But yeah, time to prime the fuel filter and, sorry, the fuel pump, and see whether we have any leaks.
Right, so here we are then. All the fuel lines are done. No leaks, all good. So what we're now doing is unplug the distributor cap, and Chris is just about to crank.
You know, now you're recording, it's going to just go pop or something.
Well, he's dry cranking to see if we can build up some pressure before we delay.
Okay, it's a 30-second rest. We're trying to build up the oil pressure, so it hasn't been started for like, what, 6-7 months, so we're hoping now to build back up the oil pressure, so before we actually start getting ignition. So we've just, yeah, as Carl was just saying, we've disconnected the distributor cap. Do this 2 or 3 times, and then can't believe we're actually about to potentially start this bloody thing. Ready?
Yep, let's do it. Okay.
Okay.
Battery?
Maybe. Oh, it's
okay.
having a giraffe.
I think that might draw to a close today's play.
No.
Okay, so just to come back, it would appear it's battery. So Chris, what are we going to do now?
So hopefully the battery's not completely and utterly ruined from being discharged for as long as it has, but yeah, I only bought the battery only a couple of months ago, so I'm a bit frustrated. I mean, I have had one terminal connected, so I don't know if that's drained it. I did have the positive off, but anyway, long story short, we're going to try to trickle charge it overnight. Hopefully by tomorrow morning, the battery can still hold a charge, and the battery's good enough to allow us to start cranking again, because we cranked and it sounded good, didn't it?
It did sound very good, very healthy.
It was a very healthy crank. We had a strong kind of 10-second crank. I think we just proved we had the Mrs. A3 jumping this just to try to get some charge back in it. I can get some lights back on the dash, but again, as soon as I try to crank, I just get a 1 click and then nothing. So it definitely looks like it's battery related. So yeah, I think it's charge it up, have another go again tomorrow morning. I have no leaks from what I can see from any of in the new inline fuel filter. So yeah.
So I think to just cap this one off, it's so near yet so far.
Right, so we've got the battery charged. We're going to get it back on the car now, give it another try. It needs kind of probably 1 or 2 more cranks without actually the distributor cap being plugged in to let the oil pressure build. Just seems it's been sat for so long. So yeah, hopefully the battery holds this time and it doesn't drain out again like it did yesterday. So fingers crossed, let's see what happens.
Here we go. This is now officially, we've done all the, well, you've done, what have you just done, Chris?
So we just cranked it 3 times to try to build some oil pressure in the engine, just so we're not kind of dry cranking it for the first time when it actually starts up. It's been sat since about September last year. Yeah, we had strong cranks, didn't we, each time?
We did.
So we just reconnected the dizzy line. So we've got all the, so the spark plugs all fire now. We checked the oil, and checked the fuel lines as well. All that seems to be dry after fuel filter. So
this is officially the first start of this car
since I've had it.
Yeah.
Several months ago. We've had cam belt change, full service, lots of stuff's been done. So here we go.
There's a few things for us to look out for, but we're just hopeful. She fires nice. Let's go. Maybe fill the throttle a little bit just to sort of give it a little bit of a, just help it along a little bit. Yeah, that's okay. A little bit on the throttle. Okay. Needs a little bit of throttle just to help it along, build up the pressure. Sounds good. That could just be idle control, like if it's sparring from cold. Just keep it, that's it. Just gently, that's it. So as Dr. Frankenstein once said, she's alive!
Yeah.
I'm going to turn the video off now. I'm just going to see what the idling is. But
so we made some degree of progress. We managed to get the car started. As you may have probably heard by now, we probably have already cut to a clip or two. But if I keep my foot on the throttle, stays fine, kind of continues to run. However, if I take my foot off the throttle, it would kind of drop to sort of 500 RPM and then just cuts out. So seems like the fuel delivery's fine, the ignition's fine, obviously the engine itself seems fine, a bit tappy, but it's been sat around for a long time. No obvious leaks or anything, which is good. So what we're just going to check now is kind of in and around sort of the air filter area, the throttle body and the sort of idle stabilization control system, just so we can see if there's anything gummed up or sticking there that's stopping it from keeping a nice clean idle. But yeah, so that's what Carl's doing there in the background. But let's get to it.
A few moments later.
So that was a bit of a ride, but overall an overwhelming success. I cannot say how happy I am that the fact that I actually managed to get the car sort of started and running, even just sort of running it down the road and back. Such an amazing feeling after it's been sat for so long. Yeah, as you will have obviously seen in the videos, or the clips in this video. Yeah, initially the fuel filter replacement went a dream, really. Couldn't have gone any better. I mean, I was a bit concerned. I introduced a lot of new joints and connections with obviously the setup with the R9 hose and the inline filter, but not a single leak, not a single problem in that regard after sort of pressurizing the fuel tank and the fuel pump and the lines and running the car a few times. No issues at all. Yeah, our start sequence, kind of, as you will see probably from the videos, a little bit sort of choppy at the start. We thought we might have had an idle issue. Oh, well, we obviously did have an idle issue, but we thought it may have been a bit more semi-permanent. But we cleaned the intake. So the intake system, the air intake, we noticed that we had a sort of, there seemed to be some sort of rubber grommet or rubber insert that seems to have been missing. So there definitely would have been some sort of air leak or pressure leak from the air intake system. So we blocked that up. And whilst we were in there and we had the air intake off, we cleaned in and around the sort of throttle body just to make sure, you know, and we also just to make sure if there's any kind of sticky throttle valve, then that will kind of hopefully help. We also kind of adjusted the throttle cable itself as much as we could. We noticed it's kind of right at the end of its tether. You got kind of a degree of adjustment within the linkage itself, and it's right on the last notch now. Not surprising with a car, to be fair, that's done 170,000 miles. That throttle cable's probably stretched to within an inch of its life, but whether those things actually had any impact on it at all, don't know. But after starting and running it sort of for a good couple of times, really has settled down now. I mean, it was sounding very tappy obviously when we first started the car, but it's sounding much better now. And previously I had to keep the throttle engaged all the time. Now it's able to idle by itself, and it's idling at a kind of nice sort of 900 RPM. It used to sort of drop to 500 and then just stall. So yeah, it seems to be in a much better state. It sounds I cannot get over that 5-cylinder sound. I just love that 5-cylinder sound. I can't wait until we get a decent exhaust system on this thing. I've got my eye on a JetX catback, which yeah, we'll see. But whether I go that route or whether I go stainless custom exhaust, anyway, I digress. Great first start of this car. It's kind of, like I say, it's really invigorated me to continue work on this car. Obviously next will be to sort of, you know, more formally get this thing back on the road, making sure obviously all the brakes are sound, all the bushings and suspension's kind of already been done on this, or at least the you know, springs and shocks. Obviously we've got all bushes and stuff to check, and obviously the actual rust, and make sure there's nothing sort of structurally compromising. But yeah, such a success. So well, hard to think it could have gone any better, really. So yeah, like I say, watch this space. Hopefully we can give some more content on the coupe now that it's finally breathed some life back into it, and yeah, catch you on the flip-flop.